Welcome back. In this video we're going to go through the full manifest or full takeoff request. We get there from the pre-flight to left, and then either 3 or 4 left will take us to the manifest or takeoff request weight and balance page. In this particular example, none of the required elements have been satisfied. That includes passwords. As you saw in our initialized video, we only entered 1 password to complete the init. It requires 2 for the manifest. The passenger crew or zone loading hasn't been completed. The CLR bags and cargo haven't been completed. And in this example, we don't have a takeoff runway. I cleared that from the previous video where we showed you how to do a max takeoff request. Now over here, this simply in the smaller yellow, from our init data that was uplinked, this is the release fuel. If the current fuel on board is less than 90% of this release fuel, it does the calculation. You'll see this release fuel, the amount of the release fuel, indicator to check your fuel on board, and the current fuel on board here is 4327. So after we satisfy the rest of this, we will simulate adding fuel to the airplane to prepare for our flight. The first thing let's take care of is the password. In the initialized video, if you'll remember, we completed the init with just the FO password, and that shows valid. We need to enter the captain's password so we can complete the manifest. Once we've entered the missing password, we don't have to send the init from here. We can simply return to the manifest page with the return key, and we can see the passwords have now been satisfied. And again, you don't have to send the init, just come back to the manifest page. The next thing we'll take care of is the passengers and crew. In the past, it's required you to enter a number for adults in all 6 zones. Now the only number that's required is the adults in zone 1, and as you can see, if we put 12 adults in zone 1, return, the passengers and crew have been satisfied. I'm going to come back here though and load the plane. I'll pause the video. On the packs and crew page, then you've got adults and children for each zone. In this case, we've got 3 children and the rest are adults. These are flight attendants. They default to 1 and 1. This is forward facing and aft and facing aft. So facing forward and facing aft, and you enter those. If you need to change them from the standard of 1 and 1, you can do that here. Your laps, infants here, and ACM 0 or 1 back here, and it totals your adults, children, infants, crew for the total souls. That's what the TS is, total souls on board, at 82. Again, on the bags page, used to be required standard bags in both forward and aft. Now only the standard bags in the forward are required, even if it's 0. I'm going to populate this with some bags. Pause the video. Alright, in this example in the forward bin, I've got 12 standard bags, no heavy bags, 14 plain side, no ballast, and 15 other cargo. The other is everything except bags, which are a count, and ballast, which is a weight. So any other cargo in pounds you enter here. Standard bags in the back, 0, heavy bags 3, 37 plain side or valet, and 100 ballast. And if we come back to this main screen, we can see it's totaled up. This is total number of bags. It calculates out based on the bag type, the weight, the additional ballast or other ballast and cargo, and then so total in the front 795 pounds, 1390 in the back, for a total of 2185 cargo. Right now I'm going to fuel the plane. Our release fuel in this case is 14.8, so I'm going to put 14,500 pounds of fuel on the aircraft, and you can see once we've met that threshold of 90% of the release fuel, then all of that disappears and we just see fuel on board of 14.5. The last thing, and this would be if we haven't already done a max takeoff, is to enter our runways. On the takeoff runways page, like we talked about in the max takeoff, can have up to 3 runways. You can send this max uplift anytime you have at least runway 1 entered, and even though you're in the middle of a takeoff manifest, unlike previous versions, once you started the load, whether zone or cargo, the max uplift wasn't available. That's always available now anytime you've got a runway. And so again, even though you're in the middle of a takeoff manifest, even if you've sent a takeoff manifest and got the full return, if you send from here for a max request, you'll get a return from AeroData with the based on runways and conditions, the max uplift capability for this flight. When we return now, we see the send data link, and we're ready to send. One other thing quickly on the packs and crew: if, for example, you need to adjust the zones, either positive or negative, you can add or take away pounds from each individual zone here. So if I wanted to take away 25 pounds from zone B, I would enter it like that, and that will take 25 pounds off the regular calculation of 11 adults and 1 child in zone B. And you can also add pounds the same way. One other thing, you can complete the manifest and do all this, and you'll get the send prompt even if you haven't fueled yet, and you have all these advisories over here that your release fuel is more than 90% of your current fuel on board. Even if those enunciations are still here, as long as you've met the passwords, the zone, packs and crew, the bags and cargo, and the runways, you'll still have the send available, and you can still send off for that takeoff data. Now it will send it, and it will wait for 45 seconds for a reply. If it hasn't gotten a reply after 45 seconds, this send will then become available, or when you receive takeoff data back, it'll also be available to send again. Once you've received takeoff data, that'll be on the scratch pad, so you don't have to be on any of these pages, and you can get there from this manifest page here on 5 right. Once we go to the takeoff data, again the scratch pad is erased, and as I mentioned, you can come back here and make a change. Let's say we change a couple of bags, add 2 more bags in the front, come back, we send again, and once we send, then the takeoff data goes away because we'll be receiving new takeoff data based on this latest request. That's the manifest takeoff process. Thanks for watching.